Stop everything. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and if they mess up pick number 6, we are looking at a total rebuild before the season even starts. This isn't just another draft day, this is a franchise-altering moment that will dictate whether we're lifting the trophy or watching from the couch in 2026. I have spent the last few weeks dissecting every prospect, every pro day workout, and every piece of draft intel to construct the definitive 7-round masterclass for the Browns. The pressure is mounting, the front office is sweating, and the reality is that the margin for error is razor-thin. This is the blueprint for success. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. The anticipation is killing me, but it's time to break down how this roster gets fixed. This is going to be an intense ride, and we're going to cover everything from the massive swings in the first round to the hidden gems in the 7th. We are not just drafting for potential, we are drafting for immediate, game-changing impact. But wait until you see the move I have them making in the 2nd round. It is a decision that will absolutely divide the fan base. Let's talk about the main event. At pick number 6, the Cleveland Browns need a savior. They need a playmaker who can shift the momentum of a game the moment they step onto the turf. After going back and forth, analyzing every single option, I am planting my flag firmly on Carnell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Listen, I know what you're thinking. Is this the right time for a receiver? Is this the absolute best value? In this draft class, Tate isn't just a receiver, he is a generational talent. His contested catch ability is frankly insane. I have watched the tape, and his body control is unlike anything I've seen in years. He's hauling in passes that have no business being caught, and his hands are glued to the ball. He didn't drop a single pass last year. Not one. If he adds a little bit more mass and maintains that insane speed, he's a top 3 pick in any other year. Getting him at 6. That's a steal. This move gives the offense a legitimate vertical threat and someone who can finally keep defensive coordinators up at night. Is Carnell Tate the instant answer we need at wide receiver, or should we be looking at the offensive line instead? Who's to blame for the lack of production last year, the scheme or the playmakers? Drop your thoughts in the comments section right now and tell me if you're saying yes or no to Tate at 6. Moving on, we have to address the trenches. We know the front office wants immediate starters, and at pick 24, I've got them selecting Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. Now, I know there are going to be whispers about his weight and his motivation. I get it. His weight has fluctuated, and we've seen the reports. But when you turn on the tape, you see a monster. He plays with that bully ball mentality that we've been missing on the edge. He's massive, he moves with a level of fluidity that guys his size just shouldn't have, and he's been anchoring that left tackle spot for 3 years. He's experienced, he's battle-tested, and he fits exactly what the organization is preaching about, finding players who can start day 1. If he's there at 24, it's a no-brainer. If he isn't, we have a massive problem. But in this scenario, he's the anchor of the future. But hold that thought, because we aren't done. The real insanity starts when we get into the defensive side of the ball. Let's shift our focus to the 2nd day of the draft. In the 2nd round, pick 39, I am slamming the table for Armisen Thomas, the edge rusher. This is where the draft gets spicy. The Browns love a strong defensive line, it's the identity of this team. We tried to chase other options in free agency, but the physicals didn't check out. Now, we take our guy. Thomas is explosive off the ball. He has the best bend of any edge rusher in this entire class. He is a pure pass-rushing specialist who can rotate in and absolutely wreck a game. He might be a bit undersized compared to the traditional edge, but his agility and motor are off the charts. Adding him to the current defensive front is going to turn our pass rush into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. At pick 70, in the 3rd round, we are getting a true mauler. I'm talking about Keelan Rutledge, the offensive guard out of Georgia Tech. This guy is a beast. Whether you need him at center or guard, he brings that nasty, physical attitude that every great offensive line needs. He has 3 years of starting experience, and every single year, he got better. He's got the strength, he's got the smarts, and he's got that high motor that coaches drool over. Drafting him proves we are serious about protecting the quarterback and establishing the run. We are methodically building the foundation of this team, piece by piece. Now, I want to see who you think is the biggest bust candidate in this entire draft class. We've seen guys with all the hype in the world fall flat on their faces at the professional level. Drop a name in the comments. Who do you think is going to flop? Entering the 4th round, we need to add more weapons to the arsenal. I am taking Michael Trigg, the tight end out of Baylor. People are going to talk about his combined numbers, but forget the testing. Watch the film. At 6'4", he moves like a wide receiver. He put up nearly 700 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. He's a dangerous matchup for any linebacker or safety. Pairing him with our current tight ends creates a nightmare for defensive coordinators who have to account for multiple athletic threats across the middle. He's going to be a red zone machine. As we head into the 5th round, we have 2 picks to work with, and I'm making 2 aggressive moves. First, at pick 146, I'm taking Karen Allen, the running back out of Penn State. We need someone who can come in, be physical, and handle the workload. Allen is built for it. He's got that rare combination of upper and lower body power that you just can't teach. He runs with a chip on his shoulder. He's a perfect complement to the existing backfield, providing that necessary depth and physicality to keep the offense moving when the game gets tight in the 4th quarter. Then, with our second 5th round selection at 149, we are going to the secondary. Give me Ephesians Press, the cornerback out of Washington. This guy is long, he's rangy, and he's a playmaker. Last season, he racked up pass breakups and an interception, proving he has the instincts to find the ball. We need someone who can step in, compete in the nickel slot, and make plays when the defense needs a stop. He's a high-upside player who could easily outperform his draft position. Now, for the 6th round. This is where you find the steals. I am pulling the trigger on Zayvon Thomas, the wide receiver out of LSU. You look at the history of LSU wide receivers in the NFL, it's basically a factory for stars. OBJ, Justin Jefferson, Jarvis Landry. Thomas is the next in line. He ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. Let that sink in. That is pure track star speed. When you combine that kind of velocity with the ability to be a factor in the return game, you have a weapon that teams are going to regret passing on. This is a potential league-changing pick this late in the draft. Finally, we arrive at the 7th round. This is usually where you take a flyer, but I'm taking a calculated risk on a guy who is an absolute athletic anomaly, Taylen Green. Is he a quarterback? Is he a wide receiver? It doesn't matter. He's a weapon. He has a 43-inch vertical and runs a 4.36 40. He's the modern-day Taysom Hill type of player. You put him in the offense, you let him run, you let him catch, and you let him create chaos. Todd Monken would have an absolute blast with a guy like this in the playbook. He is too athletic to not have on an NFL roster, and getting him in the 7th round is a robbery. So, let's recap this masterclass. We addressed the wide receiver need with Tate, we shored up the line with Proctor, we added a pass rush specialist in Thomas, we solidified the interior line with Rutledge, we added a receiving threat with Trigg, we added power in the backfield with Allen, we boosted the secondary with Press, we added elite speed with Thomas, and we added a versatile gadget player in Green. This is a draft that rebuilds the identity of the Cleveland Browns. We are tougher, we are faster, and we are more dangerous. But I want to hear from the experts. I want to see you be the general manager. Go back through these picks, look at the roster, and grade this mock draft. Are you giving me an A, a B, a C, or are you calling this a complete disaster? I want the brutal truth. Drop your grades and your reasoning in the comments section below. And before I sign off, I need to remind you that the real action starts tomorrow. I will be going live during the draft to break down every single selection, every trade, and every reaction in real time. You do not want to miss the chaos, the celebrations, and the heartbreaks of draft night. Make sure you are subscribed, turn on those notifications, and get ready to hang out with the rest of the fan base. It is going to be an absolute blast. Thank you for riding with me through this entire process. We are locked in, we are ready, and we are going to make some noise. I will see you all for the main event tomorrow. Let's get to work.